Cultivation Street was launched in 2013 and is the longest running campaign that actively engages the knowledge and the authority of the professional horticultural industry with the enthusiasm and the spirit of the everyday gardener. It helps garden centres engage with their local schools and their communities, plus gardens that promote better health, and it's been doing it all over the UK. Chris Francis, Director of Wholesale and Retail at Hilliers Garden Centre and Nursery Group, told me about their commitment to working and supporting their local communities.
Well, I think it's really important as a business that we do connect with our local schools and our local community, because we are very much a part of that local community. So all of our garden centre managers really have complete autonomy to connect with any local community facility. They're very much encouraged to associate themselves with those businesses and help them where they can. Where we work with schools and communities, I think people very much do see us as more than just a business. The biggest success we've had with a community recently involved everybody across our business. We decided to do a Love Your Garden style makeover of a garden. Everybody who looked at the people we were considering very much picked the Burrell family as the family to work with.
2-year-old Seb Burrell has tumours behind his eyes and has been undergoing cancer treatment for most of his life. As part of their commitment to helping their local community, a team from Hilliers Garden Centre set about transforming the Burrells family garden into a beautiful and safe place for Seb to play.
Hopefully it'll make such a difference to this family who just have different priorities and would never get round to it.
I thought it was just an opportunity to give something back, and I get a huge amount of pleasure out of gardens, and I thought it'd be really nice for this family to have that experience too.
We've just had our garden made over at home. I've got a young family as well, and I've seen how it's really transformed and brought us together as a family just using the outside space.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Take a look.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
You sure this is our garden?
Oh my gosh! It is oh my goodness! Are we in the same place?
What's behind the new gate? Oh look!
Look!
Look at all the bugs.
What can you see?
Ladybirds and piggies.
Ladybirds and piggies.
And look at it, what a fantastic job. And of course, the garden is so very important for a family. And I think for what they've created here, certainly with young Steb, enabling him to connect with nature. And in this day and age when there's so many computers and technology, getting kids close to plants again is very important, and to highlight and support a family like this, a very deserving family, I think Hilliers has done a first-class job.
You know, who can not be touched by a 2-year-old lad who's going through a very difficult time and a lot of cancer treatment. But overall, they've really become a part of the wider Hillier family. We see them a lot in our Botley Garden Centre now. A lot of our customers in our Botley Garden Centre know them. A lot of our suppliers know that family, and so they've had a lot of support from a lot of people. It's been very much broadcast on local TV, local radio, that we were involved in that project, and so gave us you know, quite a lot of positive PR from the story. So I think all garden centres should engage with local communities and schools. We all have some sort of relationship with the local school, with the local nursing home, you know, with local groups, and I think it helps us all if we actually have those associations and work together. So initiatives like Cultivation Street, pairing garden centres and communities together, I think are really good initiatives. They have an experience and they'll help you get started.
Well, what a marvellous example of what Hilliers do, helping their local community, and that's just one out of the many different projects that they do. But it's not just the garden centre groups, it's the independent garden centres as well. We launched the Cultivation Street Ambassador Scheme, which now has a network all over the country of enthusiastic garden centres engaging with their local communities or schools. A great example of how somebody's making a real difference is Old Railway Line Garden Centre. To tell us a little bit more, here's Matthew Lewis.
We've been out to various schools in the area and helped them sort of design and actually implement new gardens in their grounds. One I can remember, we did a veg garden at a local school, which involved a lot of us getting in the van and a couple of cars, filling them up with compost and plants. It was great to see the younger generation sort of getting involved with the planting and how enthusiastic they are. They get proper stuck in, they don't mind getting in the dirt, getting in the mud, chucking it about, digging. It's great fun. What we did last year to get people involved in Cultivation Street was we reached out to the local communities. We sent out a massive leaflet drop throughout the area with all the information about Cultivation Street in there, and included things like how just sprucing up your garden can add value to your property. And just it's a great way to get your street, get to know your neighbours, get to know everyone who's on your row, and to just brighten up the area. So no, it was nice to see that people were very keen to get involved.
We are very fortunate, you know, and the way we do things and help the community and help the children, the children is most important to me. And they are so filled with joy with this.
Dobbies is another garden retailer that makes a huge commitment supporting its local communities and schools. They have a member of staff called a community champion who also doubles up as the Cultivation Street ambassador. Steve Purton from Milton Keynes Dobbies won Garden Centre Ambassador of the Year for Cultivation Street. He's got a lot of energy and he supported many school children in his local area. Here he is to tell us more about what he's done.
I think it's really important that garden centres engage with the community because otherwise we just become very soulless retail places, and gardening is all about growing, and we want to grow people, we want to grow children and teach them all this wonderful stuff. So that's really important that we engage with the customers. We deal with hundreds of schools. Last year alone we had over 1,000 children attend our school tours, which was just incredible. And not just schools, beavers, cubs, you name it, anywhere where there are children. And we do see them back. We see them come to various clubs we run. We see them coming up here to buy pots and plants, and because they get that bug, and once they've got that, they keep coming back, and it's amazing. We meet so many different people from churches, from hospitals. We've had a lot of care homes in recently with much older people. Maybe they haven't had that opportunity to go out into the garden and plant, but to come here, they get that chance again, which perhaps they haven't had for a few years.
I'm Fiona Jones, I'm the community champion here at Dobbies. I get involved with community projects in our local area. I help to organise Christmas events for Santa's arrival and the Little Seedlings Club, which is the first Sunday of every month for children between 4 and 10. It's a lovely job to have, and it's got me involved with a lot of nice people and a lot of really interesting projects, and makes you realise there is still a community spirit out there.
1, 2, 3.
At Little Seedlings, we find it's fun to grow. It enables the children to get out and get dirty. We learn about wildlife, planting, everything really to do with nature.
I've got one who's age 13, I've got one age 11 now, and Lara's 7, and they've all come along just to relax and have fun. They're always planting seeds and watering and going out and looking at wildlife. Lara loves arts and crafts, so there's always a spot of arts and crafts included as well. So it's just right up her street, she loves it. And Dobbies is just such a lovely place to spend time as a family. If you've got little ones or even older grandparents will come as well, and I always think it just offers lots of things to do for all ages.
I think if you're a garden centre and you haven't helped schools or communities yet, do it. It's just a wonderful opportunity. It brings a lot of people into the garden. It creates so much goodwill with the local community. And it's just a fantastic thing, and will boost the morale of your staff and everybody, because people just love these sorts of events that happen in store. I think Cultivation Street are wonderful. They're doing a fantastic job. They're a great resource for me as a community champion for advice. They were fantastic last year in donating lots of plants, which we were then able to give to schools and community groups. And so there's all sorts of resources on the website and in person, which is lovely as well.
Tell me the best thing about this garden.
The kids. The kids are absolutely amazing. We ask them what they would like to do and they totally run with it. We'll have a little idea and it'll just grow and grow and grow. they're outside, they're learning about nature, they're learning about healthy eating, they're learning basically what goes in the ground goes to their plate. They take things away with them that you can't get in a book. You have to physically be outside and you have to learn how to do it with your hands basically.
It makes me feel proud and excited because I'm proud of the people, basically the whole school, even nursery and reception, that come here and help the garden.
And I think for our children living here, so many of our children live in these housing estates around, they don't have their own garden. So it's particularly special because there are children who really do not have access to a garden or outdoor space. And I think the confidence for our children that this award is bringing, it's just telling them to keep doing what they're doing.
We help schools in all sorts of ways. The main thing that we do is free school visits. And that is having schools, particularly in the spring and summer months, coming in and giving the children a chance to do planting, to repot plants, to have a look around the garden centre. And it's amazing how many children have never been to a garden centre. You know, and it's very quick with a school tour. You think, oh, they're going to go to the zoo or they're going to go here. But actually, some children have never been to a garden centre, so let's give them that opportunity.
Cultivation Street is all about making these rewarding relationships between garden retailer and their local communities possible. Julie Murray, Marketing Director for Notcutt's Garden Centre Groups, who's also been a Cultivation Street judge in the past, is totally dedicated to supporting local schools and communities. Here she is to tell us more.
It's really important for Notcutt's to engage with community and schools because we're a family-owned business, so family values are at the heart of everything that we do. All of our garden centres have got links to their local schools, and many of them also will help out in local community projects. So for example, we've helped at hospices, children's hospitals, be it with planting or advice. All it takes is a small space, a few plants and a little inspiration, and you can achieve amazing things. And when all the hard work has been done and you sit back and you enjoy the beauty of a garden, then it's really uplifting and it's positive for everyone involved. So we've got 18 garden centres, and within each of them we've got really committed, passionate people who want to do it. So they all have their own local budget to be able to look after communities and charities.
Well, with my local schools, I've got about 10 or 12 now. And it's all about getting them on the road to discovering the joys of growing plants from seed, which is my biggest joy as well, is helping them discover that love of growing something from seed and seeing it flourish. If there was a garden centre, I would definitely encourage them to work with schools because from my point of view, the passion I see in the little children is absolutely amazing, and it does give me great encouragement to think that we are going to carry on into that next generation. Definitely use Cultivation Street because there's guides online for me to access. There's always somebody at the end of the phone or at the end of an email, and you've just got a huge amount of information ready waiting for you to help you get on the road to encouraging communities. I think it's that dual encouragement with each other that makes us a force to be reckoned with, really.
I think working with schools and communities, of course, it definitely helps in terms of reputation and how we're viewed by the community. I would love to think that we're growing our own customers of the future. Children can get involved from an early age. They love to get their hands dirty. They love to get stuck in. And I think that does set people up for life. If there's a garden centre that hasn't engaged with Cultivation Street, I'd definitely recommend that they get in touch. It's very easy to get on board. There's lots of help and information to get you started, and it really is a great way to reach out to communities and schools and get people gardening and into your garden centre.
When garden centres engage with their local communities, they're seen as something completely different than just a local business. They're seen as a hub for community spirit and engagement. And also the attitude towards the business changes as well. There's respect and affection. Ron and Matthew Bent from Bent's Garden Centre do an awful lot to support their local community and put something back. Here they are to tell us more.
We see getting involved in local communities just such a massive part of what we do. We have so many schools, community groups, different areas that we like to support around the area. For example, we have a Ready Steady Dip programme where they come along get involved in the garden centre, come around, have the tour of the garden centre, get to plant a seed, get to see our nursery, see how things grow.
And a lot of them are from the inner cities and towns who they don't have gardens. So for them to come and see plants growing and the nursery work, it's a great experience for them.
So Matthew Dickinson, who's our ambassador, has been doing a fantastic job with Soldier to Soldier.
One of the veterans particularly was struggling with anger management issues, and I said to him what would help, and he said an allotment would help me. So I approached Bent's Garden Centre, and within 24 hours they'd given us a plot of land which was very untidy, and they said, Luke, you can have that as a charity, and we want you to deliver this as a project. And Bent's have been so supportive. They've donated trees, they've donated plants, they've really supported the veterans. So the veterans, you know, have felt really valued. And some of the guys, they've got PTSD, they've got mental health issues, so they've got a bit of a purpose while they're going through something in their life that's a bit challenging, maybe a crisis. And it's a safe space to bring them to. So this project, without our allotment project, we know that quite a few of the guys would have really struggled. They'd have certainly ended up in accident and emergency services. Some of them have been suicidal. Some of the guys come down to the allotment to calm down, to ground themselves, to do a bit of gardening, to get the support of our caseworker Graham. And you know, we have had feedback that we have saved lives.
They just come down anytime, night or day. It's brilliant. If they just want to sit here, relax, enjoy themselves, or if they want to come down and do a bit of work, great, fantastic.
That's a memorial garden. I mean, I come down during the week and I sit up there and I just let, when it's warm and decent weather, and I just let the world go by, and it just helps me tenfold.
Nothing stopping you doing a bit of weeding as well, you know.
I've got a bad leg.
Craig was saying when this first started, it was just all overgrown. But we got in, we got the shed, we have an ex-army chef. He works in there, he makes us bacon butties in the morning, and that's how it is.
Still greasy like.
We have a couple of engineers, we gave them a shovel and told them to dig a hole, they love it.
To get involved in all these different projects and community projects into the schools, and especially Soldier to Soldier, it just makes you feel proud, and it makes our team feel proud, and it you know, just it gives you that real nice warm feeling inside that you may be able to make a difference.
We work very closely with the Cultivation Street ambassador, Matthew Dickinson from Bent's, and he's been absolutely amazing. Without Matthew, the project wouldn't have happened.
Cultivation Street is just a fantastic way to get people involved in gardening.
Shoulder to Soldier get great support from Bent's. But in addition to that, they were also one of our regional winners at Cultivation Street last year and received £1,000 to help all the good work that they do.
Well, Cultivation Street, I have to say, it took us to another level really. That actually this project, which means so much to them, has actually delivered us a regional award as a community garden project. And you know, just the injection of the £1,000 of cash means this project can continue for the next year or so. So yeah, Cultivation Street, we honestly can't thank them enough.
And it's a two-way thing. The local community have supported us in all our work here and helped us to develop our business how we have. I was brought up not more than a few hundred yards from here, so I'm part of the village, and the business is part of the village, the family are part of the village, and that's loyalty really to the village, and that belonging is important to us. And as I say, they've supported us so well with our business as it's grown that we are giving back. We're giving back to the village.
If more garden centres got involved through Soldier doing things like this, wow, prospects of it for ex-veterans and people with PTSD and other injuries is mind-boggling what they can do with it. It does help, it helps a hell of a lot.
I think there's a mutual respect then, and it's nice to see, you know, big employers, garden centres giving something back and having that connection with local people.
If just one garden centre in each area, it just helps. It means the difference between someone staring out of a window, you know, all day, than being with the rest of the lads and lasses and just getting out. It's mental health wise, it'd be so appreciated.
On the front line of gardening, between the professional horticultural industry and that of the enthusiastic amateur gardener, stands the garden centre retailers. Now they are creating relationships and supporting their local communities, be it the local kids at schools, whether it's the communities or people living with disability through therapeutic horticultural activities. Garden centres are changing the lives of their local communities for the better and building relationships that will stand the test of time.